Today I'm installing K-Tune coilovers and LCAs on my Civic. We have a lot of new subscribers since I started season 3 with my car, and I wanted to let everyone know to please go check out our stickers at refine-movement.com. We have this transfer sticker. It is cut out where the letters are. It's an awesome sticker. I have it on my car in a couple places. So if you want to get one of those, go check it out. $6 shipped anywhere in the world. We also have our wrench, race, refine, repeat sticker, which is a cool laminated sticker. You can slap it anywhere. It's a 5x3. So we have a new sticker coming in. It is a 3x3 vinyl sticker, just like the wrench, race, refine, repeat sticker. It's going to be a 3x3 square of the logo, the RM logo. It's going to look like this. So go check out our site and go pick up some stickers. It helps support us. So I have partnered with K-Tuned, as you can see, to take my suspension from a street level setup to a track ready race setup. So to start that off is the K2 circuit coilovers that they sent me. The K2s have stronger internals, they have a high quality oil, and they have race prepped Swift springs that are ready to take track day abuse and be able to stand up to years of driving. So the dampening is a 32-way adjustable dampening, so I can go from a softer setup to a more stiff, depending on what happens on track and what I need. I think this coilover setup is going to be really good because I think this is what this car has been built for in the last few years, is for racing. That's it. Upgrading the coilovers to something to take the abuse, but also to be able to perform under track settings is going to be great for this Civic. I also wanted to freshen up a lot of the suspension because obviously some of this stuff is still stock, like the bushings in the LCAs. So K-Tuned has sent me their spherical equipped bushings in their LCAs, front and rear. Before I had old poly bushings in the Skunk 2 LCAs I had in the rear, and then I had stock suspension up front, which was, as you can see from these videos, the bushings were totally worn out. So I think having new, nice spherical bushings almost all around on the suspension will really help this car perform. With K-Tune's coilovers, you can actually pick the spring setting that you want. They come with 20K up front and 16K in the rear, but talking with Hone Developments, they really helped me set up the suspension that I wanted to have and what would best work with their roll center kit, plus the roll center kit I have up front. Here is the specs that I had on the car to what I'm gonna go to on the car with my suspension. Hit the links below to check out K-Tune and Hone Developments. Both companies have helped me bring my suspension up to the race level spec that I want and help the car perform like it was designed to from Honda. So K-Tuned has a bunch of K-swap parts. As you probably already know, you can literally get anything for a K-swap from K-Tuned, but they also have a lot of good suspension parts and these coilovers that they designed with lap 32. And Hone Developments also has amazing suspension parts because they love these cars. They are engineers and they've built some really unique but important suspension parts for 90s Hondas. So go check out those companies down below in the description. There's links to their pages. So let's get into it. So as you can see, I'm comparing the coilovers here to try to get the ride height to be roughly the same. The springs are a little bit different. They're shorter on the new ones. So I had to work on that a little bit. Here I take off the bottom collar to add some anti-seize so I don't have any corrosion issues later on. And I set the ride height the same in the rear because it goes along with the honed roll center, the appropriate ride height for that to be the correct geometry. Honed recommends a certain ride height when you use their kit because obviously you can't run it too high or too low and still have the correct geometry. So I went by their recommendations and tried to get it. They have a range of ride height that you can work on. Now I pull out the old stuff for the new stuff. The bottom collar comes with some spacers because these are made actually for, I think, the ITR LCAs. So you can use these spacers so it has the correct fitment like you can see here. Now I'm just getting everything in place to go ahead and bolt everything down. You want to make sure the suspension is raised in the normal position or the ride height position with the load on the trailing arms, just like you would if you know the car was on the ground. This just helps so you don't ruin your bushings when you go down the road once you get the car back on the ground. The hone kit, I had kind of missed a step on that because you need to torque the hone brackets down before you put the brake calipers back on. You can see this bolt here gets in the way of the top bolts, so make sure you do that and get it all back together. Next is the K-Tune front LCAs. I got them in the gray color because they didn't have the silver like the rear in stock at the time. So I'm up at the front now, and that's my sway bar end link. Just want to go ahead and disassemble the LCA and the end link and the bracket to the subframe. You can see here there's 2 bolts there, and you just undo those and you can go ahead and basically pull out the sway bar after you undo the exhaust and shift linkage. So just blast those nuts off. You don't want to use the impact to install your end links, but taking it off is fine. And now I'm just removing all the bolts and the ball joint on the front LCAs here. So you'll notice that the LCA is a 2-piece component, and I'm going to be prying off the front of it, and that's what's actually being replaced. So I'll show you in a moment when putting on the new piece. So I have the sway bar off the car. It takes some effort to get these bars off, more than you would think, because you have the exhaust in the way and the shift linkage. So it takes a little bit of maneuvering. But I wanted to show you the difference between the SI bar, which is this bar here, and the EX bar. So this bar is 26 millimeters and this is 22. You can notice the differences between these bars is obviously the thickness, but where they mount to the LCAs. Look how this one is like this, and then this one is like this. So you're gonna need obviously different end links if you're planning on switching this up. You also could need different kinds of LCAs. The EX22 bar uses a straight up and down end link like this, but the SI bar here uses something like this because it has to go through here. And then on the SI specific LCAs. So make sure you get the right ones. And then also you need bushings and brackets to mount it to the subframe. I have some newer hard race brackets, or these are the stock ones. I think either one are fine. But I have these hard race ones I bought a long time ago when I did this bar, but they didn't fit. yeah, so let's get this bar in position and bolted to the subframe, and then we can get the rest of the suspension in, and then I'm gonna need to buy new end links because the end links that came with this bar are kind of bent. If you can see that, it's hard to tell. Just to show you the thicknesses up close of these bars, you can tell this is a bigger bar than this. I wanted to explain a little bit about front sway bar end links. I've had some confusion in the past about what end links to pick for the front of an EK. The DX model Civic that I have comes with no sway bars whatsoever. When I went to install them, you need to get LCAs and the front sway bar to be able to obviously install a sway bar. If you want to go with the EX 22mm sway bar and LCAs, this is the type of end link you need. It's a straight up and down end link. The control arm goes here, the sway bar goes here, tighten it down, has a bolt there. If you want to go with the SI version, you need SI sway bar and an SI LCA because they are different, and this would be the type of end link you would need, kind of opposite facing each other. This is another style end link that you can actually use if you're going to run an EX LCA and an SI sway bar. So this is what I've been actually using. So it can fit in the EX LCA up and down like that, but then it has an attachment like the SI. So just to keep that in mind if you are trying to figure out your options. I think this style actually also works with the EX LCAs and aftermarket front sway bars. I think Blocks makes one, and probably Ibach. Once you get the sway bar in position, you want to put these bushings on and make sure you grease them with some, special poly bushing grease. And then the bracket has an arrow on it, you can see it there, and that needs to be pointed towards the front of the car. And just make sure the bar is evenly spaced. There should be notches on the bar, I believe, if it's not worn down too much. And then I went ahead and just installed my LCAs. They just kind of pop on right there, and there's 2 screws that hold them to the back part of the LCA. So now I'm going to install the end links on the front bar. You need to take all the bushings off, and you're going to actually want to grease them up like I'm doing now. Probably should have done this while I wasn't in the middle of installing it, but go ahead and just put some grease on and then fit in the end link, and just there needs to be a bushing on either side of the LCA and either side of the sway bar itself.
and make sure you have the spacer in the middle and tighten it to 16 foot-pounds. So I lowered the car down, and actually the ride height was pretty tall, like you can see here, so I had to adjust the front and the rears because there wasn't as much drop from the springs as I was expecting. So I was just checking it and then undoing the suspension or lowering it back down. Once I got the ride height where I wanted, I had to just go ahead and tighten all the bolts down and torque them to the right torque specs. So I got the front suspension up to ride height and went ahead and tightened everything to the proper specs.
That is it. So the suspension setup is in. I took it for a test drive and the car actually feels really good. I was not expecting it to be as comfortable as it is. This is actually more comfortable than the suspension that I pulled off, the coilovers from K-Sport. So I'm blown away already. And I think that's a testament to correcting the suspension geometry, which Honda helped me do. So the suspension is working in a way that Honda designed from the beginning. And then the K-tuned coilover quality, I can already tell that it's better. And I just drove it around the block. So I cannot wait to get it to the track to see how this car performs. I feel like it's gonna be miles ahead of what the old suspension was doing. Next up, I am super pumped to be able to go to Speed Syndicate in St. Petersburg, Florida to get my car aligned and corner balanced. These guys work with real racing teams. They work with IMSA, cars that run the 24 hours of Rolex, to set them up to be prepared for racing. And I'm gonna get them to help me corner balance my car. I am so excited because I could never corner balance the car before because the K-Sports were frozen. The threaded bottoms to adjust the coilovers were rusted over. So I couldn't ever change the ride height in the last few years, and that was really frustrating. So now the car is gonna be balanced. So pumped. So next episode, you're going to see me over at Speed Syndicate, and those guys are going to help me do that. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Please, that helps us so much. Share our videos with your friends. Like and comment. Go check out our stickers. Please check out K-Tuned and Hone Developments. I'll see you guys next time.